All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. Wow. It has been one heck of a week. We had a very, very, very interesting things that has happened this week. We've had things that happened on Real Housewives of Atlanta and also on Verzuz. But before we get started, hello everyone. This is our third live that we have done on our channel. My name is Sin. I'm one half of Sisters Talk TV.
And of course, my name is Lucy, and I'm also one half of Sisters Talk TV. And of course, it's so good to have you guys. As Sin mentioned, it's been an interesting week with stuff happening from the inauguration to the Versus battle to Real Housewives of Atlanta, and just a lot of stuff going on. But we'll definitely get into that. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Sin and let her finish this out.
Yeah, it has been a few things that's happened. So before we get started, first, let's go ahead and wish our new president and vice president, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, official president and vice president, actually, Madam Vice President of the United States. Woohoo! So a lot of things has happened. So we are really excited to just kind of have this new transition of power back in the hands of Joe Biden and also Madam Kamala Harris. So in this broadcast, we want to talk about the Verzuz challenge that's happened with Keyshia Cole and Ashanti. And we really want to just talk about professionalism and what professionalism means to be in the music industry and also entertainment and any other profession. So that's kind of what we want to get into and just kind of do a little overview and just kind of recap of the whole Keyshia Cole and Ashanti Verzuz and tied into professionalism in entertainment and other aspects. So what do you think so far? What did you think about the Verzuz, Lucy?
Well, first, I just want to say I was definitely looking forward to the Verzuz, of course, with Keyshia Cole and both Ashanti. It's been a long time coming, especially with both of them being out of music for some time. So it was definitely good to see that they're actually coming back and in the Verzuz. And it was great that Ashanti, recovered from the C19. So we were really, I was really excited about that. Definitely is ready to see her, and also again Keyshia Cole as well. So overall, I thought that there was definitely some work that needed to definitely be done in terms of, again, like you mentioned, professionalism, the profession that comes with being a musician, being an artist. And that was in Keyshia Cole's part, because initially we all were waiting for Ashanti was of course already there, and we were waiting for Keyshia Cole. So at that moment, I already knew that, if you're not on time, at least for your work, then how do you expect us to, stay tuned with you? So at that point, I think that kind of brought already got her, like, her score. It already brought it a little bit lower. So I think that definitely not being on time was definitely one of the aspects of this that did not quite go in terms of cool points for Keyshia Cole. But however, Ashanti was definitely there. So she was definitely early when, we were all waiting again for Keyshia Cole. So I thought that overall the Verzuz was okay. I wish that it would have been in person, like how Jeezy and what's his name? Please let me refresh his name. How do I miss his name? And Gucci Mane. Okay, Gucci Mane. Yes, I wish it would have been in person. I felt like I would have been more in tune, it would have been more alive, I would say. And both Keyshia Cole has an amazing voice. They have his like Keyshia has hits, Ashanti has some good songs as well. So I think live would have been so much better, you know. So I felt that's how I felt. What about you?
Yeah, so let's go ahead and kind of just like kind of piggyback a little bit and kind of introduce what the purpose of Versus is, just in case some people may not know what it is. So Versus is kind of like a kind of social media concert, like a battle. It was originally introduced like during the whole like lockdown and quarantine, and it was just a way to just kind of for people to just have fun and just interact. And it was like a kind of like a musical, I would say like a musical concert originally for producers to like showcase like their music genre or any kind of like music category that they have like written and stuff. And in a way, it was a way, also a way for new generation to like learn about old school music, 90s music, early 2000s. So people, it was just kind of a way for musicians to gain a whole new generation of audience. So that's kind of how Versus came up to be. So now they are trying to incorporate like more singers. Maybe they had like, I wouldn't say maybe they didn't get along or people kind of saw them as competition to kind of go against each other. So that's kind of the essence of what Versus is. So this past week we had Ashanti and Keyshia Cole. They played their songs and they kind of went against each other. So this versus it wasn't live compared to other verses, but it was on Instagram and they were both in their own house. So for me, my initial thought, like going in, I was like, oh, Keyshia Cole got this because one, she has the better voice. Like she is a really, really good singer. And a lot of her songs are pretty good for what I've listened to. She's a great singer. She has a lot of hits. And we all know she makes like music about, you know, love and heartbreak. So she makes those kind of music. So I was like, oh, she got this. Like she is going to win, and it's no problem. But coming in, everyone's like waiting for Keyshia Cole. Like, where is Keyshia? And she was like 1 hour late. Ashanti was kind of late, but not like 1 hour late. But she was already there, kind of warming up the crowd and just trying to get the crowd going. And people are still waiting on Keyshia. She's nowhere to be found. Yeah. So what did you think about Keyshia being like late? So actually going in, who did you think that was going to win? Or who you was like, oh, this should be easy? Like,
Honestly, I thought that Keyshia was going to win because Keyshia has an amazing voice, and we all know. So I was rooting for Keyshia Cole, but I know that Ashanti, like listening to Ashanti growing up, I knew her voice was always very positive as far as she's like the fun type of person. You'll like someone that you'll definitely have fun around. You know, even her, you can hear through her music as well. So I knew she was definitely going to give that vibe. But I knew Keyshia, like she can definitely turn up just turn up her workspace, you know. But again, like, you know, listening to her, watching her on TV, we know her attitude is not so much of the best. So I knew that could definitely be a conflict with her performance. Again, it did. So I was rooting for her, but at the end, I had to give it up to Ashanti because guess what? Her attitude, her professionalism, definitely had it for me. So
yeah, I do definitely agree. I feel that Ashanti was the better professionalist. Yes. Keyshia Cole, she was late. There's no excuse for being late. And then when she came in, Keyshia Cole didn't even apologize. Like she was super rude to her audience, and she was really rude to like she didn't even apologize. You know, hey Shanti, like my bad, I'm sorry, or so. She just came in with a complete attitude. So I feel like that kind of turned a lot of people off because how she was acting. And, people were like turned off by it. And for me, when I was watching it, because I remember when she did come in, I was like, why is Keyshia like, she's like really upset? I was like, okay, maybe like she got held up, maybe it was something going on, or maybe, something, it could be anything. But then I was watching an interview that she did, and she said that the reason why she didn't want to come in was because the screen that they can see people in, she looked kind of like she looked dark on the screen, like it just wasn't working. It wasn't like a good quality, and also something was going on with the sound. So that's why she was like, she's not coming out until they get this fixed. Yeah.
Do you? But okay, Keyshia knows she's an artist, right? So either way, you should always be prepared for whatever conflicts come up, right? Because you're an artist. And how long has this been? It's been what, I mean, their Verzuz was already supposed to be done and over with, but I mean, that's the whole point of being prepared. Preparation is always the key to for an artist, right? So either way, she was supposed to be ready. She's supposed to mishaps happen all the time, right? Just in life in general. So either way, she was supposed to at least go with it, right? So that's why I felt that either way, she should have still did what she had to do, and and just did her thing. I mean, I felt like, again, Keyshia Cole has amazing voice. Keyshia Cole has hits, and if it wasn't just for the attitude, not being punctual, I felt like she would have definitely took the show. So that's what I think. I know a lot of people were going in on that. Definitely her punctuality was definitely what really lost Keyshia and lost a lot of people. Again, we were expecting to see her just like we are expecting to see Ashanti, but again, it's the punctuality, and that's the professionalism when it comes to being an artist.
I definitely agree. I feel that Keyshia, like, yeah, it's the whole thing of being an artist. Yeah, like it's a whole thing about being an artist and being a professional. And that's why professionalism can take artists a long way. And the reason why I say this is because, Keyshia Cole, she's very talented. Like, she's really, really talented. But it takes that professionalism to, like, take an artist to, like, the next step. That's why Beyonce is as big as she is, because because Beyonce is I don't know why this is showing up. Okay, because Beyonce is very professional. She takes her craft really, really serious. Every step that she gets, she tries to elevate. She tries to improve her craft, whether it's her singing, and she's very punctual. If you ever go to any of her concert, Beyonce literally starts on time. Like, if her concert starts at 7, Beyonce is there right at 7. She has her lights, everything turned on way before. She's getting people and she's starting to entertain, kind of warm up the crowd. Like, she's a very punctual, she's a professionalist at what she does, because she's an entertainer. Like, that is why professional entertainers have such a longevity in their career. It's because they take their craft seriously. It's not just talent can only take you so far, but it's being punctual, being kind to your peers, having a good attitude, and just finding ways to improve your talent, and also finding ways to also maintain your talent as well too. So that is why it's really, really important that anything that you do, whether any career that you are in, you have to be professional. And we can also tie this back into career as well too. But we can, stick to the whole versus thing. But that's anywhere. Like you need to be like professional.
I can agree more. I mean, I've been to a Beyonce's concert. When I mean Beyonce is punctual, she is punctual. And like, let's just look at it this way. Compare, okay, even Jennifer Lopez, right? She performed at the inauguration, but guess what? She was on time. Those that I mean, being a part of the inauguration, not just the inauguration, just being a performer at the inauguration. Imagine Jennifer Lopez being late. I mean, what is she gonna blame others, or is she gonna blame herself? Like for who made her late to inauguration? Just imagine if Jennifer Lopez was late to perform at the inauguration. Was she going to say, oh well, they this happened, or just kind of like pointing fingers at, instead of just looking back and say, okay, this is what I did to myself. You understand? So I think that this is where Keyshia Cole messed up on. It's not to point fingers, but I mean, again, this show has been prepped since last year, I believe. So I think that she had enough time to really get herself ready.
Yeah, she definitely did. Hold on, we have hold on. Hi Chi Chi. Hello.
Oh, hey Lucy. Hey Sin, how are you?
We're good. Hey, so we're just talking about professionalism and the whole Keisha Cole. So we're just kind of having a chat on that. You can let us know what your thoughts are. So we're at right now, we're kind of talking about why professionalism in, okay, I think, okay. So we'll just wait until she gets back on. Maybe it's just some technical difficulties. But yeah, I love that you actually mentioned that whole Jennifer Lopez situation, like at the inauguration. Just imagine if she was late. Like, how would that even look? Like, this is a big opportunity for Keisha and for any other artist, just because, yeah, it's just like it's verses or so. But if you care about your career, you care about your talent and stuff, like you will make sure that you're prepared. You'll make sure that you're prepared. You'll make sure that you will do whatever it takes in order for you for your craft to look good, because entertainment, like what they do is their bread and butter. Hey, Chi Chi.
Hey, sorry about that. Something happened. So I guess I kind of got caught between where you guys were giving your opinion and what you liked about the show, what you didn't like about the verses. Well, in the beginning, if I can, I guess I can say my side of the, what I like or what I don't like about it. In the beginning, I was thinking, okay, I was like, when they said Keisha Cole versus Ashanti or Ashanti versus Keisha Cole, and I was thinking, I was like, well, Ashanti back in the early 2000, Ashanti was the it girl. Every song you heard in the radio, she was either featured on it or she had her own song, and she was, top chart, Billboard, and all those type of numbers. She was pulling in numbers when it comes to music. And then you put her against Keisha Cole. Keisha Cole, you didn't really hear her on Billboard, let's say 100 or Billboard 200 and the pop chart. You didn't really see Keisha Cole's name when Keisha Cole came out. You saw Ashanti a lot. So I was like, I don't think that's a good matchup. I think Ashanti got this because Ashanti has hits, top chart, top 10 hits. So putting her against Keisha Cole, who has hits in the R&B chart, not in the pop chart, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be a lot of people tuning in. They're gonna look at it like, oh wow, why? They know Ashanti, but they don't really know Keisha Cole that well. So I was like going in, I was like, okay, Ashanti got this. Ashanti probably gonna win this because more people know her songs a lot. But when the verses started, I was like, okay, maybe I heard people saying maybe Keisha Cole got it because a lot of people know Keisha because of the urban. A lot of Black folks, African Americans, are going to be watching, verses than more pop people. So that's why a lot of people had Keyshia Cole going and winning this. As then when it started, he said it was gonna start at 8, and come 8 o'clock, nobody, all we heard was their DJ going back and forth and playing some nonsense that I'm just like, okay, what's going on? So, and an hour goes by, none of them showed up, and then an hour 30 minutes, 30 minutes later, Ashanti came in, and she started playing music and actually, trying to get the crowds in, which was good. She was a team player holding Keyshia Cole down, waiting on Keyshia Cole so they can go in and get the show started. So, of course, it was a good promotion for Ashanti, which she wants to promote herself. At the end of the day, Versus helps those who participate in it, do good and even sell more records after the show, because more people gonna say, oh, I didn't know this girl had this song. Oh, I didn't know this girl. Let me go purchase. It's all about making yourself more hot. So you can't say, oh, that's what Versus is about. That's what a lot of them agreed to do it, because the pandemic, they're not really going anywhere doing any shows. So whatever they can do to get money, they had to do it. So Versus is one a good opportunity for you to make yourself even more famous. So of course Ashanti came in, did her little thing, and then Keyshia came in after being an hour and 30 minutes late. She came in with an attitude. But we all know when we tuned in that the screen was blurry. We know that. Even on both sides, but Ashanti had her people fixing the screens and all that, make sure it was right, and trying to promote all the different, promotion that they got going on, Ciroc, Doritos, or whatever endorsement that helped. That's going to actually pay them for this Versus that they were doing. So with Keyshia Cole, she came in with an attitude, which I could understand, but for you to be an hour and 30 minutes late and not apologize to those fans who are tuning in to support you and rooting for you to do that was kind of like unprofessional. You know, unprofessional. And it's like the same thing when you go to see her in concert. If people are paying $50, $60 of their hard earned money to come see you, if you're late, we understand things happen. You may be stuck in traffic, but you got to realize that music is your business. That's your job. And we don't know what was going on behind the stage. And again, like you said, saying that she had issues, that she said that, looking at the screen for where she was at, it was dark, which is, I mean, you want people to see you. And I'm not blaming, but also we got to think about it. We can't put all the blame on Keyshia. Versus had 2 months to get their stuff together. If they, the first time they had it, of course, one thing happened. Ashanti ended up with COVID, and now she got over it. But they had time to plan, make sure that these people or these artists have a place where they can go, and it is a good connection. I'm sure Versus made good money off of artists coming in, because all the viewership that they getting out of it. I'm sure they made enough money to make sure that they have good internet service or whatever, that these artists, you do not be having issues with internet service and screens not being clear, this and that. But it's whatever. But at the end of the day, Keyshia Cole, she came in with an attitude, and Ashanti sportsmanship made her the winner. Even, I mean, if we're gonna what's going on,
I think you're kind of breaking up. Hey, Lucy, can you go on mute? Can you go on mute? Thank you. Go ahead, Chi.
So I guess when we go into, I don't know what we're gonna do afterwards, but for me, I felt like, because of the way that, like Lucy said, because of how Keyshia Cole came in, because we don't know what was going on behind the scene, but because of her attitude, made her lose a lot of points. And I guess when we get into song selections and all that, but for me, she lost a lot of points, because I was kind of surprised at the songs that Keyshia Cole had. I was like, oh wow, with all her songs, she was able to compete with Ashanti during the verses. But because of her attitude, she lost a whole lot of points for that. So that's what my thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Keyshia should be able to compete with Ashanti because she's the better singer. She has, and I was not surprised the kind of music, like I guess the kind of music Keyshia Cole was singing, or she she had, like, that's her category of music. I wasn't surprised because I knew Keyshia Cole has good music, so I wasn't surprised. So I thought that she was going to be the winner because one, she's the better singer. She has the most. She's the better. I would say she's the well. I guess both of them are talented, but she has a stronger voice. But both Keyshia and Ashanti, they're both very talented because if they weren't talented, they wouldn't be where they are at today. Ashanti's more of a lyricist, so she's more of like a writer than more of like a singer. But Keyshia Cole has the better voice. So
Well,
I would expect her
well,
to win.
well, honestly, yeah, both of them are writers. Keyshia Cole does write. She wrote some of the songs just like Ashanti, but I guess people more know of Ashanti writing side. But at the end of the day, but the both are singers, but I wouldn't say both. Well, how would I put it? One thing I didn't like about it is I didn't want them both singing. To be quite honestly, during the verse, I just wanted them to play the music and just talk about what they were doing during when they when they wrote this song. But they, I felt like they were trying to compete with singing their own song. You don't need to prove to us that I guess one I felt like some of them were trying to use both of them was trying to use it to show us that they can sing, which we didn't really want them to do. We want them to just play the music, talk about, you know, when you what you were doing when you wrote this song, what was going through, let us know, talk to us about it. We don't want you to sing because that's to be quite honest, when Versus first started, that's how it was, It wasn't like people coming in singing. We don't need all of that. We just want y'all to play the song and talk about what you were doing when you brought the song or what's going on when the producers or whoever brought the song to you. That's all we want. And it got to the point where for me, I was just like, okay, I wasn't excited anymore. It got so chaotic to the point where you can see the shade being thrown back and forth. And instead of it becoming, because at first I thought they were promoting it as women empowerment, then it just became, oh, I'm ready. I want to. This is it's a game now. We want to see who's gonna win. Actually, if it is a competition, who's gonna win? It wasn't fun anymore. You know, that's where I think they kind of lost the purpose of verses. Now it's like more of I'm trying to win this competition. I'm trying to win this bag of money. You know, and then people started getting bored about it, and it's becoming it's not what it is anymore. And I think that's where the fun got taken out of. And I don't know. That's where my little stance for it was. So
Yeah, I do agree that they did. However, the purpose of the versus battle was also at some point. But I do have to say that some of the issues that did happen, I will have to say it definitely goes for production because there was a lot of the audio quality, the video quality on that was definitely I don't know how to use the appropriate term for this, but it definitely I would say some of the issues we definitely have to go put it on production because they did a very lousy job with that, especially the quality of the verses.
yeah,
Now I was saying earlier, if I honestly wanted them to really have it in person, sort of like how Jeezy and Gucci Man had theirs. And I know with the restrictions with COVID, I feel like we could have gotten a little bit as far as quality, we would have had it because it just felt like everything there wasn't just enough space. Because at one point Keyshia Cole was trying to get up. I mean, besides her outfit that she had on, she was trying to feel free, like move, so I just felt like it wasn't really enough room for them to just be themselves and just move around and stuff. So I felt like I would say the setup as well was definitely maybe something like production, a fault for production.
Yeah, it's true. That is, you're right about that. You're right. And production should have done a better job at their job. This is not their first rodeo. They done verse several verses to get better at it. It's a shame that they're still having the same issue. And I mean, you guys gotta remember that verses started when two artists are in different environment, right? That's where Verzuz started. And for them to not have it together when Babyface did it, who was it? Erica Badu and who was that? Erica Badu. I forgot the other lady's name. Oh man. Okay. But
Jill Scott.
yeah, yes.
Monica.
But they the first. Monica and Brandy were in the room together because both of them were in Atlanta, so that kind of made it easier. But that's the thing. Like like you said, Lucy, this production should have had their stuff together. But at the end of the day, if we're talking about this whole situation, but both artists have been in this music industry for a very long time to know that sometimes you do not need to wait on production of um, for whoever it is that you're doing a show with to fix your stuff. To say, okay, you should be able to plan this out. You should have done test runs. Hey, have one of your family members video you or something so you can test whatever, you're not having a concert or anything, but you should have. The Verzuz was what, Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday. You should have yesterday prep for it. Do a test run, make sure that everything's running where it's supposed to be. But again, I just felt like sometimes, people like, I don't know, with Keyshia Cole, whatever the story was, she said she wasn't feeling good. She just had to thug it out. We understand. That's understandable. But at the end of the day, again, you guys are putting on the show. And one thing that I felt like it was so much going on between the two split screens. Each artist, like, there's so much going on. Keyshia Cole, when Ashanti was singing her song, Keyshia Cole kept getting up, walking around. When Keyshia Cole was doing hers, Ashanti was on her phone. It was just to the point where I felt like both artists was disrespectful to each other. That's how I look at it. That's how I saw it. I was like, at some point,
you feel like they lack professionalism, both in like Keyshia Cole also Ashanti, because they were saying, Ashanti was on her phone and she was also talking too.
She was talking to her production people on the side. She was trying to fix her hair. She was in her earpiece. I was like, what the heck is going on? Are you guys at a concert? Or are you guys here to enjoy each other's music? I thought that was what it was about in the beginning, So I was like, what is go? Because if I try not to compare, but when Brandy and Monica did it, they were face to face with each other, and they was actually having a conversation. There was no phone, no nothing. When Erykah Badu and Jill Scott did it, they were in separate areas, but they paid each other attention and gave each other their dues and accolades and praised each other. And they were telling stories how, that's what Verzuz is about. But this one, I felt like it wasn't, I didn't feel it like that. I didn't get that feeling to it. I just felt like it was two artists who was trying to top each other. Even though one person was saying it's all good, it was, female empowerment, we want to support each other. That's perfectly fine. That's your attitude. But the other one came in like, with her own attitude, this, and made it all stanky. But then when it came to the first round, when it came to the second round, it became like, okay, I need to win this battle.
See, but I feel that, okay, when I was watching, I felt kind of that Keyshia was the one to make it more of a competition, because she was like, remember in the beginning, she was like, oh, you're gonna win, you're gonna beat me, Ashanti. Oh, you're gonna win. So I felt like she came in with it like, oh, it's gonna be a competition. Well, in actuality, it's not supposed to be a competition. And Ashanti was like, no, it's okay, go, like, it's fine, it's all love. So I don't know, like, I mean,
no, I feel like both of them knows. Well, if we think about it that way, money wise, both know what they were getting into. If so many people are watching,
do they get paid?
Yeah, they get
I know
paid.
they get endorsements. I mean, because Sprout and Doritos.
No, they get paid. Verzuz paid them because Verzuz is, at first it was just Instagram, right? But then Verzuz into Apple. Now Apple got involved. Now Apple is paying because that money have start coming in, so they got to cut a check. So that's, if you think about it, that's why more artists are wanting to do it. More. Because they're getting paid to do it. Not only that, there's, if, like, for example, both Keyshia Cole and Ashanti detail writers. They get to play their song. They get royalties if, let's say, now so many people go in and buy one of their songs, or so many people because they heard it from Verzuz, or so many people go and how would I put it? Listen to their song on let's say iTunes or Tidal, one of the one of those apps, music apps. They get paid for it because somebody heard it. They want to go and hear it because they like the song. So that's pretty much they're getting that promotion through Verzuz.
Oh wow! So this is a really big deal. This is not like something. So she should not have been. Okay, yeah. So both Keyshia and Ashanti, they should have just took this very seriously, not to be like, oh, it's a competition, but like have that kind of level of professionalism. Because if someone is watching this, like maybe a broke or sometimes like a concert, a venue or something, they want to, hey, like Keyshia, we want you to perform, and they see that she is not punctual, then that's going to be a bad look. So this is in a way like for future people who want to go on Verzuz, like be punctual. Just be punctual.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's exactly right. So, well, I mean, that, yeah, I mean, I guess that's how we can look at it. Because no matter what they were saying, both of them were saying they know what they were getting into. They know what they were. I mean, that's why Keyshia Cole, I guess that's where the attitude came in. Like she was, even though she was late, but she was in her competition mindset. Ashanti came in and was like, I'm learning, it's for fun, this and that. But you can't tell me that she didn't know what was going on, what kind of money she was gonna make out of that. It's one of those I just didn't buy it. I didn't buy it because I mean don't get me wrong. That's Ashanti seemed like that's how she's always been like that, like bubbly,
kind of nice, nasty.
She's a businesswoman. She's not an idiot. So
yeah, so she knows. I mean, that's kind of, you gotta fake it until you make it. I guess. Like she knew, like because it's the whole thing, and that's the thing about media training as well too. You can tell that Ashanti has really good media training.
Yeah.
Compared to Keyshia Cole, because although she like in her maybe she felt like it was a competition, but she knew how to play it off.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like really interesting. But why do they feel like, okay, we saw Monica and Brandy. They had a healthy kind of like Verzuz. But why was it not the same for Ashanti and Keyshia Cole? Like, who do you think that Keyshia Cole should have went up against, and who do you think that Ashanti should have went up against? Because do you think it was the right like matchup, or you think it was kind of like an odd kind of pairing?
I guess I'll go because I wanted to mention this earlier about the matchup. I was not expecting Keyshia Cole and Ashanti to actually have a matchup. I was expecting maybe Ashanti because usually Beyonce and Ashanti came out at the same time. I think that they were like, back then, you guys can definitely chime in on this. We definitely had ours. Like we had Beyonce, we had Ashanti, our likes, right? We used to like compare them, but then now looking at it, we can't really compare both Beyonce and Ashanti, right? But then when you put Keyshia Cole and Ashanti, I don't really I did not think that was a match. I didn't think that was a matchup. I don't know exactly why they would put them together, I would say, because Keyshia Cole has hits. Ashanti also, when she started, she started singing that Verzuz, doing verses. I was like, okay, wow, these are some of the hits I didn't even hear from her. So it was an interesting setup for both Keyshia Cole and Ashanti, and I was not expecting it. I don't think that this was a great matchup either.
You're right. Because I mean, Keyshia Cole came out when I can't remember exactly year she came out, and Ashanti came out in early 2001, maybe 2002. So yeah, she's been here long. She's been in the music industry longer than Keyshia Cole, and I don't know with Keyshia Cole. I don't know who she can go against because some people are saying K Michelle maybe because their voices are the same. Pretty much their songs are the same. Which I mean, yeah, with Monica and Brandy, that was like when they pretty much came out almost at the exact same time. So that was a good matchup. Erica Badu and Jill Scott, that was a good matchup. With Ashanti and
That was
Keyshia,
a
I
classic. Yeah.
I didn't see that. I couldn't see it because if you actually listen to the verses, right, their music, the music that they were playing was totally different. Like Ashanti had some party music, Keisha had some, Ashanti had some, heartbreak music. It was just off. Something about it was off, and it's like maybe I probably say Ashanti. I don't know. Like who she maybe somebody says Sierra, maybe because her songs is almost identical, but and they probably can go hand because they pretty much came out almost maybe a year or 2 years apart from each other. Um, so maybe, but I don't know. It was something about it was off. Something about that verses was off, and I think Timbaland and this Beast knew that it was off after the after the show was over. They were like, "Hey, what the heck did we just do? And why did we pick those two?" So yeah,
Yeah, I do think that it was definitely okay. For me, the better matchup would have been like definitely K Michelle and Keisha Cole all the way because one, and also we need to also match up like energy as well too. They have the same like energy. Like if we're gonna say Keisha Cole and and K Michelle, they have pretty much the same energy. They both make heartbreak songs, and their voice are similar, you know. So I think that
right.
they were a better matchup than Ashanti and Keisha Cole. Now, for me, I feel that Ashanti, the better matchup for Ashanti should have been A. Marie, or I would say Sierra, but not necessarily because Sierra kind of makes more like jumpy, like dancing music. But I think that it should have been maybe Amory, because her Amory came out pretty much the same time.
Yeah, that too. But I think Ashanti would have won because she got more hits than Emery.
Yeah, that's another thing. She would have won because she got more. I guess who came out, like who did people listen to in that time? Okay, we know we had Beyonce, we had Ashanti, maybe Rihanna.
Girl, well, sin. Rihanna, like, there's a difference. Like, this versus, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's superstars who I feel like some of them probably would do it, but like, there's people who are outgrown those type of things. Rihanna would
Okay.
probably not do it. Mariah would not probably not going to do it. Beyonce is definitely not going to do it. Because I feel like they have outgrown those type like verses and stuff. And Swiss Biz and Timberland, they don't know exactly what they're doing because they want to make money off of it. And it's to that part where it became to the point where they are making money, you know? So, yeah, that's, that's how you can look at it.
So Fisto says she didn't want to see Keyshia at all, and Ashanti was before Rihanna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ashanti was. Yeah,
Oh yeah, Ashanti was before Rihanna.
yeah. Rihanna came out like 2005, 2006 maybe. So
Yeah.
Ashanti had about 4 years before Rihanna came out actually.
Interesting. But who could Ashanti? It has to be someone with a soft voice. Like Ashanti has a very soft singing voice. She has a beautiful singing voice. But who has? I guess
Yeah.
maybe just Sierra.
It could be Sierra because I mean Sierra has some Ashanti has some dancing music. Sierra got some yeah,
Yeah.
it could be Sierra, but I feel like maybe Sierra Ashanti probably got more hits. Maybe Sierra do, but people just don't know of it. So I mean that's what Versus is about too. You play your songs that people are not aware of.
Hmm.
It's like some music that Jill Scott played, people didn't know of it. Some music that Erica Badu played. Unless if you actually listen to the album. The same goes for Monica. There was some music I didn't know from Monica. The same goes for Brandy. So it's what Versus is about. And when they had the producers in, when the producers New York was going against somebody, I think it was Jonte Austin or something. They were like, you actually play music that they wrote for someone else. So that was a fun, and you can get that. You sense that. That's what Verse is about. You sense that there was no competition between the two artists. They were just playing music straight up. But with this one, I just felt it. I was like, yo.
But why? Like, okay, why is there so much animosity between, okay, you had the guys who were, theirs went smoothly. They had a really good time. Even like Young Jeezy and Gucci Man, they had a really, there's, first it was some hostility and animosity in the beginning, but they were like, this is all for the culture, have a good time. Do you think it was just like underlining kind of animosity, or do you think it was just why?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't say it's because they want to I wouldn't say because both artists wants to come out of this at the top. Because when I think about this whole situation, I'm like COVID. Nobody's out there making the artists and other, pretty much they're not doing, they had to make money somehow, and whoever wins this, they're gonna get a lot of publicity from it.
Who do you think who had more to prove, like between Ashanti and Keyshia Cole?
I feel like Ashanti did.
Okay, now you feel like Ashanti had more to prove.
No, the reason why I said that is because people have think about it. People have counted her down. Keyshia Cole, not a lot of people know. I don't say not a lot of people know Keyshia Cole, but Keyshia Cole was coming in. But people were saying yes, she's gonna win. But for me, I felt like I haven't listened to a lot of Keyshia Cole, so I wouldn't really, I was like, okay, I don't really know a lot. I don't think she had enough hits to compete with Ashanti, because Ashanti, you saw her everywhere, but then you didn't hear much from her. But now you're giving her this platform, even though she's on Instagram and all that, you're giving her this platform where Verzuz were hitting 1 million viewers, prior to them, right? So you got her doing this Verzuz where it's gonna be a lot of million people watching. So I feel like she felt like she has to prove people wrong, because people were saying Ashanti can't sing. That's exactly why I felt like they had that mic to prove to people that they can sing, which to me I thought was stupid. That for them to have the mic right there. We don't need to know that you can sing, but because they wanted to prove to millions of people that, oh, girl, God, she can actually sing, or she sounds like the record. So.
Oh, that's interesting that you mentioned that, because I do remember even the whole Babyface and Teddy Riley, they weren't singing their song. They were just playing it. So they just should have played the song.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what.
Well, interesting. Huh. So who do you want to see, like, the next Verzuz? Who do you think they should bring up?
I actually want to see Shantae Moore, and either Shantae Moore go up against maybe Kayla Price or something, or Tamia go up against Deborah Cox. I feel like they don't have enough hits to do it, but because of their music that they make and their voice, you don't even want them. You won't even think about hits. You get what I'm saying? Because Tamia has songs. If you listen to her album, she got great records. Even one of the songs that Ashanti played was a Tamia song, because she sung over it. People thought, oh, it was a Ashanti song. It's not an Ashanti song. It was actually a Tamia song that she did a cover of with Fabulous.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see how people can think that Ashanti sings better than, so people really believe that Keyshia sings? I think, honestly, okay, in this Verzuz, honestly, be stoked. I feel that Ashanti sung better than Keyshia Cole. I feel that she in this Verzuz, but Keyshia Cole is the better singer. It honestly is. She's the better vocalist. But in this Verzuz, if you watch, in this Verzuz, Ashanti was the better vocalist because she was more prepared. I feel that she was more prepared.
More prepared.
Talent-wise, in singing, Keyshia Cole is the better vocalist.
And I felt like Keyshia Cole had so much that was going on that night that's like.
Kylo, come here.
Oh, hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Hello. Hey, Boo.
Hey. I was just gonna stay in the comment section. until you said that Keyshia sings better than Ashanti. I'm sorry.
She
I
does.
could not.
She's a
I
better
could not.
vocal.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No ham, no turkey. No, ma'am. Number one, every one of Keyshia's songs is in the same key, and if the key is not great, she might have had better, I guess,
Range.
singles and single. No, not even range. Honestly, if you listen to her songs, all of her songs are legitimately in the same key. They all sound the same. From Love all the way to I can't. I'm sorry, listening to her gives me a headache. But Ashanti definitely has better range. She had enough range to where she got her career up and J-Lo. I'm just saying Keyshia, she has a great story. She's a beautiful woman. She has enough talent to be famous. However, to say that she is a better singer than Ashanti, I couldn't. No, ma'am. No,
Actually, I can agree with that. I listen, going back at it, Keyshia Cole, like, you know how Mary has her singing voice, and Keyshia Cole has, I guess, hers as well. But I felt like for me, after that whole show with the Verzuz or whatever, I actually prefer Ashanti's voice over Keyshia Cole, because it was just, I don't know, it was strained for some reason. It was strained. She was singing her like to the point where her veins are gonna pop out, and I didn't like that. I didn't want her. I don't want her to pop out.
But Keyshia has always sung like that. Like if you look back, she always seems like she's singing extremely hard, and she's singing super hard, but it's not even for notes that you should be singing that hard for.
Right.
I just think Keyshia had a great presence, and sometimes it's about how you can build an artist versus the talent of an artist. And to me, that's why Keyshia has excelled, just because of how she was built and getting the right song.
And that's
okay. I feel that Ashanti, she has. Okay, I feel like Keyshia she does have a strong voice. To me, I do feel she has a strong voice. Ashanti has a beautiful voice too, but it might not be as strong as Keyshia's. I just feel, but she did sound good on the Verzuz. Ashanti did sound really good in the Verzuz. But I think that Keyshia overall, music-wise, Keyshia I would say she might have had a step up career than Ashanti.
Well, I don't know, because I remember that time. I remember the Ashanti era, and Ashanti was a hot commodity. Everybody wanted her. She was the face of Murder Inc. She was singing on everything. She was writing music. Keyshia honestly has never had that. Keyshia has never. When you start naming, I don't want to say Ashanti is an icon, but when like the people that were the trendsetters of music, the people that were that were saturating the market, you cannot name Keyshia.
Yeah.
But there was a time when Ashanti had the run.
Yes, Ashanti had. We could say she had a big influence in the music industry, like especially she was like one of the only females in Murder Inc.
Ashanti had her run because she came out as a hook singer, right? Then she ended up into a solo artist, which she done for about a year, 2 years until that whole 2003 when Beyonce came out, and then she faded in, and then from there it was like you weren't hearing from her like you were before. So Ashanti had her huge, like about 2-3 years where she was reigning the industry, like with Murder Inc. and then Fat Joe and all that stuff. So when they said Ashanti versus Keyshia, I did not agree to that. I was like, Ashanti was a household name in people's house. Keyshia Cole was never out. Keyshia Cole was famous because she had her show in BET with her mom and her sisters and all that stuff. People loved it. That's what progressed her, her artistry, and she ended up becoming bigger than what she is. But it wasn't for that TV show, I think that a lot of people would know who Nicole was. So,
So, B, who do you think that should have been going against each other? Like, who would you like to see in the next Verzuz? Like, which artists do you think that they should pair up?
That's really, really hard because it's hard to kind of get people that are equally yoked. I don't think Ashanti and Keyshia were equally yoked. I would love to see a Verzuz with Outkast, but maybe Outkast versus who was during that era? Because Outkast was it for me.
It wasn't Project. No, it wasn't Project. It wasn't Project.
Was it MGK?
Yeah, I believe so. MGK.
Yeah, I can't hear y'all. I'm sorry.
That's what I was gonna say. You know, Pimp C and Bon B, right?
Yeah, but I think it's something like that, or if we really want to end some rivalries, Boys to Men versus Jodeci.
Ooh.
Oh, that was
you go somewhere with that, or who was I thinking? Hold on, who else? Oh, I have
New Edition. Boys to Men versus New Edition.
New Edition.
I don't know because I was gonna say I think too that was cool, but from back in the day, it was like Jodeci and Boys to Men were pitted against each other from the start to begin with. So this would be the perfect way to kind of end all of that. You know, Jodeci was supposed to be Boys to Men, but the bad ones.
Oh yeah.
Versus doing it with New Edition, who that's like their father to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because they were named after New Edition.
I have one. Okay, so I have two. Okay, so I know this is probably gonna be we're all well, okay, let me just go ahead and say it. Okay, so I have Nicki Minaj and Remy Ma, and then I have Jay-Z and Nas.
Girl, you going
Jay-Z and Nas is understandable. Remy don't have enough hits to go against Nicki.
Okay,
we like her, but no.
Come with the point where it's gonna be like this. We don't want that. So they still got their own issue they gotta figure out. So how about I was thinking of Mia and Deborah Cox for some reason. I felt like because I seen them sing together and they got this like they would give me the Jill Scott and Erykah Badu vibe because I think those two, when Jill Scott and Erykah Badu did it, they set the bar high for female because of how admirable they were to each other, you know. And that for me, I feel that back. You know, we need that type of energy back. Even Monica and Brandy, they did it too. They tried to, but you know, at some point, Brandy was throwing shade, and it was just. But we need that energy back. I think that Deborah Cox.
Okay, so I was going back to Ashanti and who she should have gone up against. I think Nivea. I think she should have gone up against Nivea. They both kind of came out like similar times, and they both have pretty good. Like Nivea has a good list of good music.
But Nivea didn't have enough hits, though. That's the thing. That's what it was. Nivea probably like 2 to 3, 4 hits, but it's not enough to compete with what Ashanti had, you know. So
well, we'll just have to see. I don't know.
But overall, I mean, it was a good show, but it could have been better if both ladies were. One person would have been. Well, I guess both of them would have kept it professional. We would have got a good show out of it. But they tried, I guess.
Yeah, they did. They all tried. I mean, they tried to hold it down, but I don't know where the next feature of Verzuz is going to go. Hopefully, hopefully they just can keep it toward like the root, like keep it authentic, because that's why people enjoyed it, because everyone was at home, and they should just keep it authentic how it all started. I feel like now they're trying to go to corporate and mainstream.
Right, exactly. And be punctual too. People got things to do. If you're gonna keep it on weekday, people got work to go to. People got schools to get about to start. Be on time. You know, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock. It doesn't make any sense for you to say 8 o'clock and then go an hour and people are still, your artists are not there.
Do you think that was Verzuz's fault? Like, did they set up the camera for them? Like, was that their fault?
Their fault. They should have had that on their contract. Say, listen, at 8 o'clock, y'all need to start. If they don't start at 8 o'clock, cut them off. That's just that. You don't
Yeah.
allow art. You have to take people's time into consideration. We're not gonna sit here and watch you be 30 minutes late like we don't have nothing else to do. We want to support you, but at the end of the day, take us into consideration too.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
All right, ladies.
All right. So it was definitely a good combo, definitely to have. And just to kind of go back on this, because I know what this was it Thursday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, one of the verses was. So, yeah, it was good for us to actually review this and come on here and just kind of give our own perspective. Yeah, so it was a really good convo.
Yeah.
Thank you all who joined the live, and thank you all who are watching for supporting us. And hopefully next time we can have another live.
Yeah, I
And
like
another,
this.
yeah, and another conversation like this. Thank you guys so much. Please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Also check us out on our other videos. Me, Sin, and also Lucy. Thank you, Chi Chi, for coming in. Thank you, B Stokes, for joining us on this conversation. I love to talk about, what people's thoughts and reviews are. They see things in a different perspective than we do. So it was really interesting.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Bye, Chi Chi.
Bye, Sin. Bye, Lucy.
Bye, Shishi. Bye, Sin. Bye, Beastos. Great. Nice having you all.
All right. Good night, everyone.